interview do's and don'ts. This is something that every student is going to need before they get out in the work world. So we have a whole module on it. And the reason for this module is to prepare you for entering the workforce with the necessary tools to do so. Preparing your resume and cover letter and then interviewing, these can be daunting tasks, and you may not want to do this, and you may think that you can wait until after you complete the course. I think that almost all the students who have completed this part of the course are really very happy that we have included it as part of the curriculum, you know, after it's done, I will say. In fact, many of the students that have completed it let me know just that they were grateful for the experience. The feedback given to them on their cover letters and resumes has helped them produce much better quality documents. Many students are very nervous about the interview. I know for some that you know, that students do not look forward to putting together a cover letter or resume. And some have been on interviews and some have not. And some students get really nervous about interviews. For many students, it's a frightening experience. These students, after the interview is over, are really happy that they've been given the opportunity to practice this before getting out in the real world with a future employer or a human resource person. We want to help you prepare for this, and we want you to feel prepared, confident, with a great cover letter and a great resume, and just more confident, in general, with your interview skills. So what is career development? It involves your cover letter, your resume, and your interview. So let's talk about cover letters. A cover letter, excuse me, sorry, is just a brief note to give your prospective employer a glimpse into who you are and why they would want to hire you. It's your first contact with your employer. It may be your first and only impression. It gives you a chance to touch on your strengths. It gives you the opportunity to give the reader a desire to get to know more about you. It also shows, hopefully, you guys, that you can write and punctuate a letter and that you have good grammar. It allows you to tailor your words and go after a specific job. So if you're reading an ad, you can tailor your wording to fit different ads. Let's go over the checklist. Now, you can find this checklist in the school course curriculum, and I suggest going over it before you start the cover letter and after you finish it to make sure that you've hit all of these points. So, briefly, it needs to be short, just 3 or 4 paragraphs. It's not your life story, you know, it's just relevant, pertinent information and no redundancy. It needs to be consistent font and formatting throughout. It needs to be professional, proper punctuation, grammar, and vocabulary. And by submitting your resume and cover letter to us and getting feedback on it, we're going to help you do that. So it's to your benefit to get some feedback on this. You know, it's going to include your name, your address, your phone number, email address, and date. Can't stress to you enough, you want to use, you know, you're going to create this document now, but you want to update your date before you send your information. Always update your date. You're going to include the name that of the position you're applying for, the recipient name and address, the proper opening salutation. You're going to be enthusiastic about, you know, the job you're applying for, and why they should choose you. And you're also going to say some nice things about the company that you're applying with. You know, why do you want to work for this company? You know, look at their website, find something that appeals to you, and, you know, write about it. Make a sentence or two. You're going to Write something about, you're going to thank them. You're going to let them know how to contact you, and you're going to give the proper closing salutation. Now let's talk about the components for the cover letter. It's just a couple of, we just kind of touched on it. It's going to be a heading, a date, name and address, the job reference number, the salutation, the opening paragraph where you introduce yourself, explain why you would be a great fit for their company. Why do you want to work for their company? You want to thank them for the opportunity to apply for this position and their time, and you want to let them know how to get in touch with you. Add a closing, add your name, and enclosure. Your information should contain your name, address, email address. And let's talk about your email address for just a minute. If you've got some cutesy, sweetsy little email address, you may want to change it to a more professional email address before you apply with a company. This is going to represent you as a professional in the future, so you might want to think about that. Make sure everything is correct. I can't stress that enough. Proofread. You want to make your name and information stand out a bit. You want to catch their eye. This necessarily may not, but you just want to, you can play with the font. You can do a lot of things with it. Just make sure you can read it. If this is hard to read, don't use this. You're going to make the heading larger. You can play with italics, bold, whatever, keep it readable. You can left justify, right justify, you center it, it doesn't matter. It's yours. Just make it look good and clean and presentable, professional. Make it, something that they want to read and see. Don'ts. Let's talk about the don'ts. If you don't use a border, some people do, and don't use stationery that hides information. You don't want any funky fonts, in the family there. I mean, that's just a little too crazy busy. Be creative, but let's don't get out of hand there. They're going to look at that and think, no. That's too little, too light, doesn't stand out, it's hard to read. No background patterns, that's just crazy. And then, no, don't use color, although it's pretty, but you just don't want to use that. So, and again, add the date, but make sure that you're updating that date. And another thing, if you're applying for a U.S. job, the month comes first, the date comes, is the middle, and the year, of course. And in Canada, it's the opposite. So make sure you're using the correct format for that. And then, you're going to use the date, and then the address for the person that you're applying goes beneath there. Excuse me, I'm sorry. So right beneath that is the reference line, and you'll find this in the advertisement where you're looking. And it may have a number, a job number, or just the medical position, the medical transcriptionist position, or however they phrase it, that's what you're going to want to use in that reference line. Now, in the salutation, the opening, if you know the person's name, you're going to want to say, "Dear Miss Smith." Unless she signs her name Mrs. Jane Smith, you're going to want to use Miss. If they just say HR person or something like that, and there is no name, or please reply to the HR department, then you will want to address it to, HR department or HR person, whatever, it says in the ad, and then to whom it may concern. It is initial caps on all of those words, to whom it may concern. It's just like somebody's name. Replace it. You would do with all caps, initial caps. And you can use a comma or a colon after that. Okay, let's talk about the opening paragraph. So this should grab their attention. So you want to introduce yourself briefly, and it's a brief statement about you. What do you want a future employee to know about you? Now, what would make them want to hire you? You need to promote yourself here. What would a friend or family or family members say about you? What adjectives would describe you? What skills do you have? What are you good at? What have prior employers said about you? What words describe your work ethic? You want to be short, but enough to give them a sense of who they would be hiring. Again, brief, but enough to make them want to read more or want to know, more about you. Here are a couple examples. I am a highly motivated individual and have just completed the Medical Transcription Healthcare Documentation Program through CanScribe Career College. And that is CanScribe with a capital S. Okay, everybody? That's a capital S in the middle there. I am excited to be applying for the medical transcriptionist position with your company. Be excited. Show enthusiasm. I read with great interest about your job opening for an entry-level medical transcriptionist position. As a recent honors graduate from the Medical Transcription Healthcare Documentation course through CanScribe Career College, I'm excited to get started with my career. These are just two examples. Show just a little something. Word it. Don't use these words. Use your own, but just show something. You're motivated. You show great interest. You're excited to get started. Show some enthusiasm. Why you? Why should this company hire you? These companies get hundreds, if not thousands, of resumes and cover letters, and they really do not take much time, sadly, to look over these cover letters. If they see errors in, punctuation and grammar, they more than likely go in the trash can. So you need to catch them. And here are just some adjectives, detail-oriented, conscientious, adaptive, flexible, determined, meticulous. Be honest about it, though. If you're going to say meticulous and then you have errors, you don't want to do that. So, again, that's where we can help you with some of the feedback. Just keep in mind, you want to use same word form. If you're going to use adjectives, you want to keep it all in adjective word form. This is just an example of why you. I feel that I would be the perfect fit for your company. Over this past year, I was able to work a full-time job and complete school. Okay, I am dedicated, determined, and have a great eye for detail. Throughout the course, I transcribed over 1,000 reports, learned and worked on 3 different transcription platforms, and I've just completed a 100-hour practicum. I am ready to hit the road running. Just show some enthusiasm. Don't be negative. I don't have any experience. If you don't have any past job-related history, don't see this as a negative. Use positive words. Lots of people change careers now later in life, and lots of people in this industry get into this line of work because they want to be home with their families. It's okay. And it's all right to say, I don't have. You don't have to say that. You just say, I'm excited about this change of career. I've decided to go back to school. I'm excited about this. So it's okay. You don't have to be negative about it. Now, why them? What is it that a company would offer that would make you want to work for them? You need to know. You need to let them know what you're interested in, why you're interested in them specifically. So add in a couple of sentences about what it is their company that makes you want to work for them. Do they offer ongoing mentoring to their new students? Do they offer advancement in their company? Do they offer ongoing education for their employees? Flexible schedule may not be the most important reason why you want to work for a company. It may be important. So make sure that you read about the company you're applying for on their website. This will give you much information, and read their ad carefully. Gear your cover letter towards that ad. What are they looking for? What's important to them? Again, don't lie, but you can gear it towards that. Here's an example. I've been reading about your company and see that it offers a great mentoring program for new graduates. This is especially important to me as I want to continue to learn and grow into a more seasoned medical transcriptionist. I realized this would be a great opportunity for me. Okay, so we're to the closing paragraphs. Excuse me. You want to stay positive, be appreciative, thank them for their time and the opportunity to be even considered for this position. So stay away from negatives. Will I hear from you if I don't get this job? Don't say that. We can be realistic, but be positive. Politeness goes a long way. Give them your contact information in the closing paragraph for convenience. Possible statements. I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for your time and consideration. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I appreciate your time and look forward to talking to you. You can reach me at, and my email address is, and you want to put a closing, sincerely, or warm regards, or something to that effect. And you want to do 3 hard returns and then your name. And if you have an enclosure, you put that right under your name. And you can put resume or you can just put enclosure. And that's basically what it looks like. And then that's just it all together. Short, sweet. It gives a little bit of sense of who I am, what I'm looking for, why I want to work for them, and I'm looking forward to hearing from them, and I appreciate their time. Always check for spelling and punctuation errors. So again, there's the checklist, and you know we've hit that. So you want to check it before you send it in, and that's what you're graded on too. Have you met the 85% requirement on this? So you always want to check that. And here are a couple of websites for you know, Indeed and Monster on cover letters and resume samples, sample ones. So it's always, you know, just always Google everything, look at their samples, and then do your own. You know, get some ideas and then do your own. Okay, so final tips. Make sure you're following the instructions per the application. Always, always send yourself and a friend your resume and cover letter before sending it out to somebody. The reason being, sometimes when you send a document, the formatting goes wacky and it just goes all over the place. And if I was receiving something like that, I probably would just go, you know, and then just whatever, throw it away or whatever. Again, they get so many applicants and so many resumes and cover letters, you know, that it just, it makes sense, you know, to take the ones that take the time to make sure that they are formatted correctly. So check the formatting. Have somebody read over it. You know, how does this sound? Does this really, you know, sound like me? You know, what should I add anything, delete anything? Ultimately, it's yours. It's your resume and your cover letter. Check the formatting, check the spelling, keep the information concise, be honest. You know, they'll find out if you're not. Always include your email, phone, and address and information, and make sure that your everything is correct. I recently added a period in the wrong place, and my email was incorrect when I sent it to somebody. So, you know, it's just, you know, we make mistakes. We're human, and you wonder why you don't hear back from somebody, and it's because maybe we've made, you know, a mistake. So always make sure that your contact information is correct, especially because you're putting it at the top of the document and you're also adding it at the bottom. Excuse me. Okay, so check the spelling of the recipient's name, address, and email address. Always check those things. And then, you know, just make sure, look at it one more time and look at it from their standpoint. Would you want to find out more about this person? You know, look at it with a critical eye and say, you know, I'm interested in this person. I think I want to find out more about them. So just kind of keep that in mind also. Okay, so let's talk about resumes. Again, this is your resume checklist, and you know, it talks about, you know, you want to proofread, you want to identify and correct errors prior to submitting them. You want to, again, use the consistent font and formatting throughout. Make sure everything's professional in layout and vocabulary. Make sure the contact information is easy and quick to read. Again, make sure the content is relevant, brief, and includes only pertinent information. Make sure you have a good objective statement that clearly states your purpose, and includes a summary statement to highlight qualifications. Employment history, only use past history relevant to MT work. Details should be brief, informative, and specific. Education and a summary of achievements should be included. Okay, so your email address, again, we talked about this just a minute ago, that it needs to be professional, and this may be a good time to, make a new email, or you may wait until after school, or you may be happy with yours. It's all up to you. And again, these companies get so many resumes. You want your document to catch the eye, and you want your reader to read more to get to know you. So you have to grab them right off. And if they see errors, it's more than likely going in the trash. I've read online that human resource people spend less than a minute to read. I've read 6 seconds somewhere that they look at something, and it takes them 6 seconds to scan. And we put a lot of time and energy into our cover letters and resumes, but they can glance at something and just go, no, yes. So I would think it'd be a bit more than that, but I would guarantee it's probably not more than 45 seconds. So you really need to grab them to make them want to make sure that they want to read more. And if it's not, it's hard when you get some of these formats that are pre-formatted and do the bullet points and everything like that, and then you send it to somewhere and it doesn't format correctly, and the bullets are all over the place. That's why I say be sure to send it to somebody to make sure it formats correctly. You want it to be 2-page max, 1 if possible. Use black text on white background. You can use bold, italics, underline, all caps. You want to draw out the reader's attention. Don't use color text. And again, they don't spend much time deciding whether or not they want to find out more about you. Proofread carefully, be consistent with your formatting, and be consistent with your verb tenses. If you're talking about a past job, don't, keep things in the future tense if it happened in the past, and don't go from tense to tense. If you did something in the past, it's in the past, and so keep it in the past. So let's talk about briefly some formats for your resumes, and these can be found in your the course. And it says the chronological resume, and this is really more for students, or more for people that if you've worked in the same line of business for a long time and you're looking for a job in the same line of business, you're going to have, this is where you would build off of a career, and you're building excuse me, sorry. So it's a traditional structure. And it says here, it's rarely appropriate for someone making a career change. This is like a lot of experience, and you really want to, like the jobs that you have. This is rarely used for people that don't have the experience, that are just coming out of school with a new career. But if you do have things in your background, like if you have been in the medical field and you are changing careers from a different aspect of the medical career, and this certainly could be used. So you would use more of your qualifications and professional experience and things like that. Again, I would just say, to be honest with you, there are so many different ideas out there. I would just Google chronological resumes for samples. That brings up a ton of them, and they will bring you pictures, and if you just hit view all, they will give you samples of just hundreds of them, and I think that is your best bet. Functional resume. Now this is what most of you will be using. This lists skills that you've acquired that are pertinent to the job you're applying for. So it's going to highlight your major skills and accomplishments from the perspective of functions performed in your career. So it says it effectively targets the resume for transition into a new occupation. And I like this. It lists skills and qualifications from previous jobs and puts them into a prominent location in the document. And so this is good. This is what you guys will probably be using, I would think, where you'll list a summary of skills. Sorry. And you're going to draw from all positions and life experiences. And you're going to list your education and your professional experience. And again, you're going to pull from the professional experiences skills that you have learned that will help you with the medical transcription field. And again, I just encourage you to really Google functional resumes for samples, because there are just a ton out there, and you will get more ideas if you'll just get out there and look and see all the samples out there. There's also a hybrid, and today's resume is much more relaxed than it used to be. The thing I want you to see about this, you can combine and be, again, more relaxed, but just don't be redundant. If you list something as a skill or an accomplishment or as a qualification, just make sure that you are not like redundant in your information. And again, you can definitely Google that. So let's talk about the components of the resume. You want a goal statement. You want a summary of qualifications or a summary of achievements or a summary of skills, depending on which resume you're working with, work history, education, affiliations, and references. You can keep your name, heading, information the same. You can change it up. You can left justify, right justify. It doesn't matter. You can move it all around. Doesn't matter. Just make it stand out. Make it, same. I mean, make it stand out. Interesting. Your career objective goal statement. You want it short and sweet, but you want it to just say, you want it to say what you want. What is your goal? What is your objective? Here are a couple of just generic ones. To obtain an entry-level position as a medical transcriptionist. Or to become an independent contractor in the medical transcriptionist industry or medical transcription industry, to obtain a position as a healthcare documentation specialist within your company where I can continue to learn and grow into a seasoned medical transcriptionist. Make it your own. What do you want? What are you looking for? And then, just make it your own. And there's a couple of good websites. Again, with today's you can Google everything and then get a lot of ideas and then tailor it to the job you're looking for and yourself. Make it your own. So let's go over just briefly what the school says about the summary of qualifications or achievements. On chronological resume, this is somebody, sounds like going for a supervisor or a QA position. And that's the example they give. So this person definitely has qualifications. This transcriptionist has over 20 years experience, and she has quite a few, skills, qualifications. And I don't, this is probably not going to be, with you just getting out of school, this is probably not going to be the one that you guys are going to use. Let's talk about certification. A lot of times students will write on their resumes that they will be, at the end of this, certified, a certified medical transcriptionist. You will not be certified at the end of this. You will receive a certificate for completion of this course. If you become a certified, it used to be a certified medical transcriptionist, and now it is a CHDS. But the certified, you have to have work experience. And I think the rule is at least 2 years of experience, and then you have to take a test. And the test is not easy, my friends, let me tell you. And it is, there is a fee involved, and it's quite pricey. So it is not, you're not, the certified, it's not just a term to throw out there, but you do receive a certificate. So you can say that you will, you can say medical transcription certificate through CanScribe course, but you cannot say that you will be a certified medical transcriptionist at the end of this. And again, AHDI has all kinds of information about this, about furthering your career, about getting those credentials after your name. And so if you want any information about that, I encourage you to read all about it at AHDI's website. So skills, acquired, these are acquired, learned, and they can be from school. Okay. This is very useful. Less is more. It's a snapshot of your abilities. And so this says, because recruiters tend to scan resumes rather than read details, a simple list of skills without definition allows them to see very quickly that you have what they're looking for. So it allows you to make a positive impression. So this is on a functional resume format. And I think this is a great thing. So this is, like a list of some of the skills that you can put, and you can phrase it any way you want to. You can make you can just put little blurbs, little words here, or you can make little quick sentences, or you can use bullet points, but just again, check your formatting before you send. You want to touch on these, though. You've learned a lot over this past year. Here's some more. You have knowledge of these programs. You can phrase it in different ways. If you want to use a verb, you transcribed over 1,000 dictations. If you want to use a noun, transcription of, knowledge of, if you want to, keep it in that noun, ability to work independently, knowledge of, boss. So, just keep these things in mind. Think about what you've done over this last year and what you have, great time management skills. Think about what you've done over this past year and, jot them down. Okay, so your professional experience or work history. This is, if you have, so if you have jobs that are in the medical transcription field, that's fantastic, and you'd like to list those for sure. If you have jobs that, have, work where you've worked in a medical setting, that's great too. If you have, jobs where you've done computer work, all types of things. You can pull skills from jobs that will lend itself to the medical transcription field. If you've worked as a hairdresser for 20 years, would I list that? Yes, I would. That shows that you have been in a job for 20 years, and that shows longevity, that shows stick-to-itiveness, and so there's something to be said for, they say, don't put jobs in that don't have anything to do with medical transcription, but I think there's something to be said for consistency, and so you have to kind of make that judgment call yourself. So list information that will help you in the medical transcription field, what lends itself to this field, and what you did on that prior job that will help you in the medical transcription job. And these are some words that, power phrases or words, actions. Think about what you're saying. These are words that you want to use that will help you in your, you're going to, again, tailor this document to help you get that job. And this list is in your course. So be sure to read and use them appropriately. You might not want to use any of them. Your education. Again, CanScribe is with a capital S. I mean, we see that quite frequently with a lowercase s. So you want to definitely highlight your training as new graduates. And you want to so many people change careers now. It's okay. It's seen as a good thing. You know, years ago, people stayed with the same jobs forever and ever and ever, and they were miserable. More and more people are changing careers, and it's something to be proud of. And so own it, and it's okay. And lots of people don't start working until later, and that's okay too. Just, it's your life, it's your career, and, you know, be proud of it and be positive about it. You know, just make sure that you add in the name of the school, the degree or certificate, and if you graduate with honors, please add that, or high honors, please add that in there. You can add in your 100-hour practicum if you want to. You know, just add anything that you think will stand out, you know, add to. And this is additional sections. Do you have anything? Again, you know, a lot of, on different jobs other than medical transcription, you know, volunteer work might look great. But here they're looking for really the meat and potatoes. You know, how is this going to help the medical transcription field? I would probably think about that before I added it, unless you helped at a hospital or something where you were charting or something. I don't even know if you could volunteer for that. But one thing I do know is if you're a member of AHCI, you can add that as a membership or an affiliation heading and put that information there. And you can put like members since, and you can put like, you know, last year or the year before, whatever, whenever you started. If you're not a member, you should go to the homepage of the course and join. It's free, and it does have some great information there. This is taken from your homepage. If you'll scroll down, once you get to the MTHCS course, if you'll scroll down, it's free for a year, so throughout the course. So make sure you guys check that out. No strings attached. It says we promise, there's no catch, and I think it's something that you ought to at least check out. It couldn't hurt you. And at the end, after you do your practicum, there is some pre-employment practice testing, so it's to your benefit to do this. Okay, so you always want to put a references available upon request, and there is no need to put your references down at this point. If they want references, they will ask you, and so that is good. Center it at the bottom of your report document at the very end, and that is it. And again, you know, you want to go over that checklist. Did you do everything you were supposed to do? Make sure you did, and then you want to always check for punctuation, spelling. Then you want to go to the Dropbox, and it says you just want, once you want to, you know, you just want to either complete and drag and drop onto the upload button, or you want to click the upload button and you want to search for the files on your computer. If you've saved it as a document, all you have to do is click upload, and it'll open up your files, and then you can just search for that file name. You know, always name it something you're going to remember, you know, so that you can easily find it, and then click on it, open it, and then it will just it'll go right in there for you. It's very, very easy, very user-friendly. Now, these will be assessed, and there will be feedback. Now, you guys have to keep checking this area for feedback, because once it's gone, once you've submitted it, one of our guys looks at it, goes over it, gives you feedback, then puts it back in the feedback area, and you'll be required to retrieve them from the Dropbox, make necessary corrections, and then re-upload them to the Dropbox for further instructor review. Check back often. That is the update. And then, so you can either hit on the attachments, and that's where the upload will come in. Now, let me tell you and then they'll say you have passed, and then and then they'll give you further instructions. Let me tell you just a bit about the grading. So the interview is 50%. The resume and cover letter, 50%. So out of the resume, you have to get 85% on each of them. So basically that is 50% out of each. It's kind of confusing, I have to say. But anyway, you can get a possible 100% for the whole thing, for the entire career development. But it's broken into two sections, cover letter and resume, and then the interview. So when you see your grade and it's only 40-something, 42.5 or below, if it's 42.5 to 50, that means you've passed the resume and cover letter and you're on to the interview. If you get below 42.5, that means you have not passed. So once you get to the interview portion and you get that grade added to it, it will total between 85 to 100, and that is what you need to pass. If you have any questions, ask us, but you'll get the total grade after your interview. Once you've been informed that you've passed the cover letter and resume, then you'll go on to the practice interview section and submit your available times for that. Okay, now you just follow these instructions. You please email instructors at CanScribe your available times. Let's talk about interviews, do's and don'ts. Interview do's and don'ts. Oh, remember one thing. All of the interview times are done in PST, Pacific time, okay? So here's the checklist for the interview. You commit to, you're prepared, and participate for the interview as scheduled. You've reviewed the interview tips, and they go over those in the course material, and you have an understanding of the skills required for a healthcare documentation specialist. You're able to accurately describe the role in which they'll play. You're able to speak about previous experiences, education. You take the time to thoughtfully answer questions and portray confidence. You're prepared to address 3 personal strengths and 3 professional weaknesses. And students must be able to explain steps they are taking to improve upon their weaker areas. This is a biggie. People don't like to talk about that. And you must have at least one job-related question prepared to ask the interview at the end of the interview. And at the end of the interview, students ask what the next steps will be and thanks the interviewer for opportunity to speak with them. Now, so just a few tips here. Prepare for the childcare. Don't chew gum. Don't talk to other people in other rooms. Turn off your phones. Keep your animals quiet. Open a notebook so you can have notes, but open it to both pages so you can have it wide open so you don't rattle pages. Asterisk the most important things that you want to know about them. If you're nervous in the interview, let them know. Tell them it's okay to be nervous. Tell them, hey, I've been working hard this past year and I am really excited to get going with my career and I'm just a bit nervous. It's okay to tell them that. They have to interview for jobs, or they have had to. They understand. Write yourself notes on that notebook. Deep breaths, slow down, be positive, don't ramble, stay on point. This is your time. So more than likely they're going to ask you some variation of, tell me a little bit about yourself. Okay, this is not your life story. This is also not a one-sentence answer. So what you want to do is tell the interviewer enough information to give them a sense of who you are. Again, think about what a friend, family member, or prior employer would say about you. Not that you are the best thing since sliced bread, that you won the cutest baby contest, or that you were the fastest runner at the family reunion every year for 10 years. Okay, it's okay to tell them that you have a family, that you're a mother, a wife, etc. You tell them what you want them to know about you. It's okay to tell them that you've decided to change careers, that you've decided to go back to school, that you've never worked. This is your story, but you need to summarize what you want a future employer to know. Be positive and honest, but they don't need to know everything. You know, they don't need to know your whole life story. Where did you go to school? This deserves more than just CanScribe Career College. Okay, you have spent a year or more of your life taking a difficult online course. And for some of you, this may have been your first experience with computers. You learned a lot during this course. You do not, again, need to write a book, but you do need to spend time being proud of yourself for this accomplishment. Some of you have had families, held jobs, and gone to school. So I think this question deserves more than just CanScribe Career College. You you know, you can mention that you have, you know, maybe you can mention this is the first time you've ever even been around computers and you've learned so much. You know, it depends on what you want them to know. Okay, what experience do you have in this field? If you have had any job in the medical field, now's the time to bring that up and discuss it. This would be great, give you a leg up in this, you know, in this interview. Maybe it's not transcribing. Maybe it involves being in a medical office, hospital, or other medical setting. But you've absorbed so much medical information just being around that. You know, use that. If you've used computers, learn new platforms, typed, etc., make note of this. Be sure to add in that you've completed a 100-hour practicum, transcribed over 1,000 medical reports, worked and learned and worked 3 different platforms while going to school. You've also learned valuable time management skills throughout this course. You know, yes, this is school course, and this is experience through the school, but if you have no other experience before this, you know, the 1,000 reports that you transcribed were real medical reports. So, you know, don't make light of it. What are you looking for in a company? Well, what is important to you? Ongoing mentoring, great QA department, great benefits, flexible schedule, room for advancement down the road, environmental concerns, great reputation. You know, maybe it's word of mouth. You know, you need to think about what it is that is important to you. What, again, go to that website, find something that they offer that that is, you know, that you can find, that you can talk about, that their company offers that's important to, you know, that you're looking for in a company. But don't, you know, be honest about it, and don't just tell them what they want to hear either. They can tell. They go through enough of these interviews. So let's talk about strengths and weaknesses, everybody's favorite. Weaknesses. These are not failures, people. They're just meant, they're not meant to put yourself down or beat yourself up by any means. We all have weaknesses. Mine, I'll just say, I'm going to be honest, I struggle with this one, organizational skills. And I do interviews all the time, and students talk about their strengths being organizational skills, and it just kills me. But that is one of my weaknesses. And I work on a daily basis to come up with different ways to be more organized, and I am getting better. So I, you know, have calendars, and I have timers and everything, and it is working. I am better. So saying no to people. People have a hard time to this, about this. Lack of experience. This is a real one for you guys. And it's one that is going to get better with time. And that's an honest one. Public speaking, typing speed, again, that's something that's going to get better with time. ESL dictators, again, you can say that over the past year, you know, when you first started, you had no clue how to transcribe an ESL dictator, but with the experience you've gotten with all the dictations that you've transcribed, you can see that, you know, that this is getting better, and with time and experience, this is only going to improve. Just make sure that or you do anything, you're taking extra time to listen to those audios over and over to get your listening skills better. You know, make something, show them that you're working on these areas to improve your weaknesses. Just think of some of the struggles you've had and steps that you've taken over the past year to improve these struggles. That's just what they're looking for, that you are working in these areas. They don't want red flags, though, okay? No red flags. Don'ts. You don't want to tell them that you have the inability to sit still, that you don't like taking orders from other people, that you don't like being corrected, or that you have a real lack of focus. You know, those aren't good ones. Other ones that you don't want to tell somebody is, I don't have any weaknesses. I can't think of any. Or my mama has always said I was perfect. I don't think I have any. Don't go there, people. You know, just don't go there. Okay, so let's talk about strengths. Okay. time management skills, organizational skills, again, I just don't want to say that, but anyway, determination, patience, grammar skills, typing speed, medical terminology, but mean it. If if you have these skills, be honest. They're looking for a well-rounded employee. So overused words, terms, phrases, hardworking, perfectionist tendencies. We all have those, but they hear that all the time. Don'ts. I have so many strengths. It's hard to narrow my strengths down to just 3 of them. My mama says I'm perfect, so I would have to say that I'm a perfectionist. I'm like a dog with a bone trying to prove my point. I hate to quit working. They really are looking for well-rounded employees. They want people that can do their job, have a family, have fun, be happy, and they don't want somebody that's going to work all the time. They really want people that are going to be well-rounded. So let's kind of keep it in perspective. Okay, so they're going to ask you, why should we hire you? This is your chance to really bring it home. You know why they should hire you. Only you can tell them that. There's nobody else to stand up for you at this point. So you have to sell yourself. And I know it's uncomfortable for some of you. But if you have some key points written down and you practice them, you don't want to read them because you don't want to sound, like you're reading. But, you'll do well. And again, you know why they should hire you. Have faith in yourself and be confident. They may ask, is there anything else you want me to know about you? Again, this is your chance to give them anything else that you've if you've forgotten something throughout the interview. If you're thinking, oh man, I wish I had said, oh, I wish I could have told him this or whatever. If you have your page open and you have different things asterisked, or if you've been marking off things as you go, maybe there are a few things that are left unmarked, unchecked. This is your time to get in, anything that you've left that you really want them to know. Don't hold back. This is your chance. Okay, do you have any questions for me? Always, always have at least 3 questions ready. And I would say have more than that, because they may have covered something in the conversation that you've had that just blew one of your questions out of the water. So do you have any advice for a new graduate, a new MT? How does your QA program work? What are the next steps in the process? Always ask that. You want to ask open-ended questions based off of what you find on their website. Always go to their website before you get there, and then, find something that you can base a question off of. I see that you hire from within, you advance from within. I know this is early in my career, but I really want to, move forward and grow in your company and personalize it with their company. Is it too soon to tell you that or something? Let them know. Just find some question, base it off their website. Don'ts. Do you have any questions for me? No. That's never a good one. I can't think of any right now. I probably will after I get off the phone. No, that's not a good one. How much time will I get off? No. This is not the time for those questions. You don't want to ask them, what if I don't agree with your QA department, or how can we correct a doctor? You don't want to ask them these questions. You want to be polite. You want to be agreeable and kind, and you want to thank them for the opportunity to speak with them and for consideration for that particular job. This person is the door, to getting your foot there into that company, and you want to please that person. You don't need to be a suck up, but you want to be kind and represent yourself well. This is another great website for some strengths and weaknesses. So there's the checklist, and did you hit all those? And these are things that you're going to be graded on your interviews. And did you hit all those? So the final tips for interview, always be on time, be prepared, be positive, don't put yourself down. If you're nervous, it's okay to let them know, slow down, breathe, be thoughtful in your answers, have strengths and weaknesses ready, have some questions ready, have some backup questions ready, thank the interviewer at the end for their time and for the opportunity. Stay positive and breathe, and it'll be over. It'll be over soon. And that's it. And thank you guys for attending. Do y'all have any questions? I'm going to post the website and the monster. Yes, I can go back with the, okay, let me see. I will go back through here. Okay, lots of employers use word scanners and not humans to review reviews. Wow. Can you show me the website, the monster? You're welcome, Sandy. Let me see. I will post, Cindy, I will send you that monster website. 2 slides back? Okay, let me see. There you go. You're welcome. You're welcome. I have administrative experience, but many years back. It's not medical, but should I put it on my resume? Yeah, I would think so. I would say anything that you can use. And if you have questions, you can always email us at instructors@canscribe.com or sanderson@canscribe.com. You're welcome. Yes, they have so many great related attributes. Yes. Thank you, Sandy. Thanks, Deborah. Appreciate that. And your feedback for your resume, Shelly does those, and she does a fantastic job. And she will give you guys some great feedback. And just use it. Use the information as, it's good. It's good feedback. Very good suggestions. You're welcome. I get it all the time. Everybody's so nervous on that. Well, Sandy, I think tomorrow, hopefully, this will be posted. That's my hope. Jonathan says my previous employees involved HR and confirm what you said about employers scanning documents in a matter of seconds. Complete professional cover letters and resumes are a must, and I appreciate. Thank you. Well, you're welcome, and thank you for saying that. I know it's kind of insulting that they spend so little time after we spend so much time on our resumes, but it's good to know, and you do have to catch their eye. Yes, we do the interviews on the phone with you guys. Yes, those websites will be posted on the forum for sure. I'll do a PDF, Cindy, attached to this. Oh, yes, I bet more and more people are going with interviews with the Skype, with the pictures, yes, so you can see everybody. I think they are going that way. But our school just does the, that's right, Anna, make sure you're not in your jammies. But we just do the phone, over the phone. I think it always helps to try to, you know, dress up and look nice, though, because I think you feel better. Well, guys, that's it. It is time to go. I appreciate everybody coming today. Thank you so much. And again, this will be posted hopefully tomorrow at the latest. Thank you, and you guys have a great day. And don't forget about the Q&A session on Friday. Yes. Right. Wear scrubs. That's right. That's right.